like never before. Search around, sky or ground, you never know what's in store. Explore, explore, explore. Explore, explore, explore.
If you look at this color wheel, you see that on this side, you put a line right through it. These are what's called warm colors. They're kind of bright. So the red, orange, and yellow, and there's a little bit of the green, red, orange, yellow, those are called warm colors. And beneath that line, you have green, blue, and purple colors. So green, blue, and purple are cool colors. So cool colors and warm colors. Now what's the difference? Well, colors can evoke emotion. So a lot of times you see an artist and he wants to make you think about a certain feeling. Or sometimes you see a movie, and the movie, the tone, the colors in the movie evoke a certain emotion from you. What is that? Well, if you have a cool color, blues and greens and purples, they make you think kind of calm thoughts or being mellow, being kind of maybe sometimes even depressed. Whereas if you want to evoke excitement and happiness and warmth, you have the warm colors. So you have people dressed in yellow and orange and red. So whenever you see a painting or a picture or you see a movie and you see different colors on the backgrounds of the sets, or if you see the actors wearing certain kind of clothing, think about that now. If you see everyone's wearing these warm colors, that means the director is trying to make you think happy thoughts or warm thoughts or get excited. If you see them all wearing sort of cool colors, he's trying to calm you down or evoke sort of a somber or a toned down sort of like a feeling of like, well, I'm not too excited. And that's the idea. They can evoke emotion. Colors are wonderful. They're not just for looking at. Colors can make you think about things, make you feel things. Colors are so incredible. And there's more things about colors. I'm going to teach you about colors. One more thing after I come back with this. I'll see you in one moment. Guess what I'm back with? My color wheel one more time. And this time, let's go over what's called color schemes. Now, what are color schemes? Well, it's not that colors make a scheme to a plan. No, color scheme is actually the way you can actually put colors together in a way that works really well. So for example, you can't just toss certain colors together, and think they look good, because that's not always an artistic way to do it. But there's actually a formula behind putting colors together. For example, there are things called complementary colors. And what's a complementary color? You take the color wheel and you go straight down. So any color that goes straight across is complementary. For example, yellow and purple are complementary. There's blue and orange are complementary. Red and green are complementary. So you see, you take the wheel and just go straight across, you find what's called the complementary color. And that's a perfect match. For example, Christmas time, what do you get? You get red and green, those are complementary colors, right? That's purple. And then you got again, you have here purple and yellow. You see a lot of sports teams have purple and yellow. Or Easter time, you see yellow and purple. They're complementary colors. Now, another way is called an analogous color. And what are analogous colors? Well, if you take colors that are right next to each other, so yellow and green together, or maybe even these three greens, there's three colors together. You can take 2 or 3 colors together, combine, and they're called analogous because they go together. Because they're right next, as long as the colors are right next to each other on the color wheel, then they fit together. So you can see any combination of 2 or 3 colors together are analogous, and they're the perfect fit. Now there are a couple of more complex color schemes, and I'm going to show them to you because I know you guys are very, very, very smart. And if you know the concept of a triangle and a square, and I think you do, you can figure these two out. So a triangle is also called a triad. So there's the triadic color scheme. What's that? Well, if you draw a triangle and you have evenly spaced 3 colors, evenly spaced apart, they go together. So for example, the primary colors, you have blue, yellow, and red are evenly spaced apart. They go together, right? If you just tweak it one over, and you have these 3 tertiaries. So this tertiary here, with this tertiary, and this tertiary, they'll go together. Boom, boom, boom. So that's how it goes with the color wheel. If you have 3 evenly spaced colors, you make a triangle, you get 3 evenly spaced colors, they go together. And what is the square? Well, the square is the same. The square color scheme is you take 4. You can take 4 of the colors, but you draw a square. 4 evenly spaced colors along the wheel, and you have the square color scheme. Now, any 4 will work. The whole point is, when you're making an artistic display, whether you're making a painting or a drawing or whatever you're doing, I mean, sometimes you just want to just goof around. That's fun. That's cool. Just have fun. But sometimes, you really want to impress somebody. If you really want to impress somebody, then go ahead and think about these color schemes. Sometimes, if you're painting a house, you're painting the rooms. You want the colors to go together because you're looking at the house every single day, right? use your color schemes. Color schemes are what professional painters use all the time to make sure that they have the most beautiful images possible. So if you want to take your artwork up to another level, like wow, make sure people say, look at your artwork and say, oh my goodness, this person is so incredible, their artwork is amazing. Make them think that by using color schemes. You can really impress them. And only you will know the secret, right? So you know the color scheme secret, no one else will know that. Okay guys, when I come back, we're going to talk about paint and how different types of paints can also look different. Be back in a second. Hey fellow explorers, we're back, and check out all the cool paints we have here. We've got spray paints, we've got watercolors, we've got regular water-based paints, we have oil-based paints, we have neon color finger paints, we've got pens, we've got oil pastels, we've got basic crayons, we've got fat crayons and skinny crayons, we've got some magic marker pens, we've got a pencil, a multicolored pencil, we've got everything you possibly want. Now why do we have all these different kinds of paints? Because the thing is, when you're going to do some kind of artwork, every color is not the same. The type of paint that you use, or whatever, even if it's a crayon or a pen, that makes a difference as to how the color actually appears on the paper or on the canvas. So, for example, let's try, if we start off with these oil pastels. Now what are these? So these, they look like crayons, and they're very bright and beautiful. But they're actually not crayons. They're a little thicker. They are waxy, but they're wax oil. So you can draw like this. That one actually snapped. You can draw like this, and then you can actually go like that and kind of rub them in a little bit. And you know what? I'm getting messy, so here's something to do. Whenever you start working with artwork, put gloves on. Let's try putting some gloves on. I'll be less messy that way. Here we go. Put 2 gloves on, 1 for each hand. And that'll be all set to go. Okay guys, now, let's try some more of these neon pastels. Let's try a purple one. Like that, and then you kind of smudge it. So you can kind of smudge it in there a little bit, and kind of rub it sideways, and smudge it some more. So you actually see a lot of artists, they work in what's called pastels. These are pastels. So when they say pastels, they're not talking about the color, like mentioned, like at Easter time, pastel is a soft color. It's not the color pastel, it's the type of crayon that you're using. So it's called a pastel crayon. It's like this one's more crayony. Some pastels are more chalky. Traditional pastels are more chalky. This one's more crayonish. It's an oil pastel. An oil pastel is different than a traditional pastel. Okay, now let's go on and do some marking pens. Now these are metallic markers. That's something else you can see. On the color wheel we talked about the different colors that are there. You don't have metallic colors. You don't have neon colors. These are colors that you won't find typically in your color wheel. So when you're actually going to do artwork though, you can actually find metallic and neon colors in different types of painting material or writing materials. So here is metallic purple. This is metallic, like a darker blue. And here's some basic pens. Just basic red, basic kind of a light green. So you see all these different types of colors, and see how each thing looks different? These oil pastels, the texture, the color looks different than these metallic type pens, and they look different than these regular type pens. They all look different. Here are some watercolors. Let's use some of these watercolors. Let's grab a brush. Check out these brushes here. These brushes, they're all different types. See how they look different? And even some of these brushes aren't even brushes. Check this out. This is not even a brush. Actually, some people will paint like this. They'll actually go like this, and they're scraping the paint, primarily with oil-based paints. And I'll show those to you in a second. But let's get some water. Here's a little bit of water right here. Let's get a brush. We'll grab a brush and we'll dab some of this water here. And let's try, you know what? Let's try some of these cool sparkle watercolors. Some sparkle purple. Oh, let's see. Maybe a little bit of sparkle blue. Get some more water in here. Some sparkle blue. And you can't even see the sparkle, but you can see watercolors. Now see, look at watercolors themselves though. How they look. They look actually very, very thin and watery. That's why they're called watercolors. But you see, they have, it's kind of come out, sometimes they're hard to see at all. Here's watercolor, a little bit of green. See how thin they are? You can barely see them. The purple's nice and the blue's nice, but some are you can't barely see. But compare that, now look how thick this is. Look how easy and thick in terms of the color is compared to the watercolor. Watercolors are very light, and again, when you're painting or doing an artwork, sometimes you want different looks. Some people want this type of light look, so you get a watercolor. If you want a darker look, you might want to try an oil-based paint. These are oil-based paints. Check these out. Now these, they come out very thick. For example, here is, now look at this, see this red pen? Check out this red oil-based paint. Look how thick that is. Now compare how thick that is to the watercolor. Look how thin that is. You put the watercolor on, it comes right off, but now look at this. Actually, you know what? Let's try that oil-based one I was telling you about. So this is you can actually see that? It actually kind of spreads it out. And you can actually do like that. Make little things. You can actually make a little designs and things with that. You can also use the brush though. You have to take the brush and paint with the brush. So you can make a circle, make like a balloon right there, a red balloon. You have other, let's see, let's try a different color. Let's add a little bit of green to it. Maybe add some eyeballs to it. How about a nice blue smile to go with those eyeballs, huh? And again, look at that. Now look at how thick the oil-based paint is so thick compared to watercolors. Again, here's a watercolor paint. Let's grab one of these brushes here. Let's grab one of these brushes. The watercolor paint is so much thinner. Let's take one of these darker paints here. Now here's a watercolor red. Look at that, you can almost barely see it. It almost looks pink, but it comes out so light. So watercolor is very different from oil-based paints. Now there are things called water-based paint, not watercolor, water-based. Here are some water-based paints. Let's compare the red of a water-based paint to the red of the oil. Now it's thicker than watercolor, but look at how much thinner it is compared to oil though. So much thinner. And again, it gives a different look. So if you're painting, the material that you're painting with makes the color look different, it makes the texture look different. And that's important to understand. Because artwork isn't just the color. You can't just say, I want something that's red. It's like, well, what kind of red do you want? What type of material? That affects the way it looks, and it affects also the emotion behind it. Remember I talked about how warm colors and cool colors can evoke emotions in paintings and artwork. Well, so can the types of paint and types of materials that are used in your artwork, whether they're paint or crayons or using chalk or pencils. No matter what you're using, it evokes a different kind of feeling in the artwork. And so if you ever go to a museum, you'll see some different types of paintings. Some artists will paint only in watercolors, or only in chalk, or only in oil-based paints, or some use a mixture, or some don't even use paints. They might use tiles, or maybe they'll take pieces of paper and put them together, or maybe they'll use glass or metal. So whatever you use actually affects the way it looks. Now here's something. I talked about neon colors. Now these are actually finger paints, but these are neon colors. Check these out. Look at this bright pink. Look how vibrant that is. Isn't that amazing? Here's a neon orange. Actually, this one I think I still have to take the lid off on this one. Let's take off the cap here, okay? Put that right there. This is the neon orange. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see how this comes out. Oh my goodness, look how bright that is. Amazing. It's neon green right here. Isn't that awesome? I love neon colors. They're so gorgeous. They're so vibrant. They pop right off the page, like boom! That's a neon color. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So awesome. And then these are finger paints. So what do you do with finger paint? You use your fingers. No. Just mix it all up like that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's very messy, but very awesome. Now I have some paper towels here, so I can wipe my hands off. Always have paper towels nearby when you're doing this kind of stuff. And here's something I have. I have some spray paints. Now spray paints are very cool because when you spray with the spray paint, the colors come on nice and even coated, nice and shiny. But they're also quite dangerous because they're under pressure. The canister itself is under a lot of pressure. That's what forces the paint out of the can. So always have a parent around to help you out or to make sure it stays safe. You gotta be very careful around spray paints. But check out, this is a metallic one. This is silver, look at that. That paint looks like silver. This one is gold. So, let's check it out. Shake it up a little bit. And look at that. It looks like gold. But here's some regular paints. They're not metallic, but they still look nice. Here's some blue. Look at that. Spray paints are gorgeous. There's a little bit of green right here. And sometimes you can spray paint over one another. So what happens if I paint over paint? What do I get? Look at that, just covers it right up. That's red. And look at, you see as it slowly, so you're in paint over paint, they'll start to fight each other. So you see it kind of bubbled up a little bit. So that's kind of cool. We get a kind of cool effect right there. So basically, when you're looking at different kinds of paints, you're getting a different kind of emotion, different kind of effect. And colors are not just colors. And you can't just say, give me a red paint. You have to say, what kind of paint do you want? Do you want a spray paint? Do you want what's called a latex paint? If you're painting a house, you have latex paints. You want an oil paint? You want a water-based paint? A watercolor paint? Do you want a pastel, a chalky pastel, an oil pastel? Do you want a finger paint? Do you want crayons? Do you want pencil? It all depends on what you want. You have to ask for that because it's going to make the look different. The colors will look different. The texture will look different. And so just be aware of that fact. So, but when you're doing artwork though, here's this cool thing though. No matter what you do, it's still art. No matter what you do, it's art. If you go ahead and use watercolors, go ahead and use oil, if you just mix it all together, it's still art. So have some fun, have some fun. Make artwork any way you want, with any colors you want, with any medium that you want. Just have fun, all right? I'll see you in a moment. Well, fellow explorers, it's that time of the video when it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, what do we always do? The explore roar. So guys, let's make the X on our chest for explore and then let it all out. Ready? Explore! And look for my videos next week. Look for explore. How do you spell it? XSPLOOR. Explore. And hit my subscribe button. I need all the subscribers I can get. All right, guys, I'll see you next week with some more fun videos. Bye-bye.
Now once more with Explore, we've done learning galore. Explore, explore, explore.
Hey, fellow explorers, I need subscribers to stay on the air. So please hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you. See you next time, fellow explorers. Take care.